And hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you again for joining me once again. And if you have not yet, you know what? It'd be really awesome if you would like and subscribe to my channel, where I pretty much have been doing this journey of trying to grow the YouTube channel and really be more consistent in content creating and all kinds of things like that. And today I wanted to talk about honestly several different things because there's so much that's in the news. And I also didn't want to name drop either. And so that's going to be really hard to do as I do this video. But let me just say this. Over the course of the last few days, I have been watching people succeed and do some really amazing things. A guy that I've known from boyhood at a church that I grew up in actually preached his first sermon, and it took me several hours to process what that meant, and especially what that meant to me because I remember growing up with that person in church and being around them for as long as I was around them, and then fast forward, we're adults and we both preach. And he preached his first sermon and he did a fantastic job. And I watched his dad, the pastor of the church, celebrate him. I watched these other ministry leaders and people who were friends of his dad and his dad's dad. All these people celebrating the legacy that was started right from the beginning and just celebrating the legacy and the faith that was presented by this family, and which, by the way, very genuine. I know the individuals I'm speaking of, and they're great people, and God bless them. They're awesome people, right? And you know, I looked at that, and then days later, I ended up reading some news, and it's so funny because I'm hardly ever on this side of YouTube, but the part that I was on, the side of YouTube that I was on, I was reading some news about a YouTuber who is a young YouTuber, and he ended up getting kicked out by his mom after being live on online streaming, and how he was kicked out, but he was getting literally physically beaten up by his mom on camera. And I'm watching, the news that's unfolding over this and over just that world over there of what's going on, and then watching these other streamers, including some, popular names, come up and support this young streamer after this terrible incident, right around the same time that he had this huge accomplishment that was huge to him and that was huge to the streaming community that I'm speaking of. But I'm not name dropping anything here, but I'm saying all this, I'm describing all of this to make a point, to make the point of that there's something to be said when people celebrate you, right? There's something to be said when people really believe in what you're doing. And maybe you're there right now. Maybe there's some people that you want to have believe in you and they don't believe in you. They don't believe in your project. They don't believe in what you're trying to do. And that's hard. And one of the first places to start is with believing in your project, in your journey, and believing that you are actually, in fact, called to be in this journey. That you believe that, yeah, even if other people don't get it, at least you get it. At least you understand the project, the calling, the gifting, the things that you're supposed to be doing, the direction that you're supposed to be going. And that's a hard place to be, especially when you feel like you're by yourself. I'm here to tell you that you're not the only one. Now if I that's the YouTube hat. Now the preacher hat. If I were to put on the preacher hat for a minute, I'd tell you that there are a lot of people who God has called to go on some wild journeys that people, here may not totally understand. You're going to probably have moms, dads, family members, friends, people in your life who will look at you and go, oh, okay, okay. But they may not necessarily understand what you're really trying to do or where you're really trying to go or who you're trying to be. And that's a hard thing. And you have to be okay with, dare I say it, being uncomfortable. And as one of my friends say, I say that with all hypocrisy. You gotta, but there's something about being uncomfortable in that moment. But let me come back to having that support. Growing up, I got bullied a lot, and I felt often very much just alone, in my own world with my own thoughts. And I was a different kind of kid. I'm really, honestly, even now, still a pretty different kind of person. And the way that I saw the world, well, and the way that I saw life and saw certain things was just different. And even as a kid growing up, because I was so different than, the way I thought about things, the way I talked, the way I acted, it made me a target, because I was, not fitting into, the stereotype. I was not fitting into what they thought that I should be fitting into. I didn't fit a category. They couldn't categorize me. There was something, although they tried to put me in a box. There were people who did try to put me in a box, and unfortunately, even some family members. And I am on this side of it all, looking at it, going, "Wow, I get to do the work I'm doing." And had I listened to the people who had nothing but things to say that were negative, if I listened to half the people who thought that what I'm doing right now as a career was not something worth doing, or it was not profitable, quote unquote. And which, I mean, the thing is about profitability. We could go. That's a whole nother video by itself. Of, okay, how, what does it really mean to generate income? I'm not generating any kind of income right now on my YouTube channels, and I can be very, just honest about that. I'm not. Would I like for it to? Of course I would. I said that in a video about the monetization stuff, but there's something about this part of the journey for my life right now. Being 42 years old, being able to impart some wisdom to make people kind of think critically about some things, especially in the world we're in right now, that, yeah, there are going to be some people that are going to celebrate you. And that's awesome. What a blessing. That's wonderful. But then there's going to be some people who are going to be absolutely furious that you're even accomplishing something, even if it's something that they don't get. The fact that you're able to experience a kind of dream being um, met or accomplished, or that you're getting somewhere, that you're actually trying, that you're trying to go forward. Maybe you're trying to get your degree. Maybe you're trying to move forward in some creative work. Maybe you're trying to, do, work on the job or in your self-employment, whatever it is that you've got going on. That and maybe right now you're feeling like, man, what's the point of this? Because I don't have the support that I think I need. Start with you. Start with you making the point to be around people that do not mind pouring into you. I think about people right now in my life who really inspired me and still inspire me to this day, and who encourage me and motivate me. And it's not just folks that I follow on YouTube, and it's not just folks who I'm online on Threads or Instagram, though I do connect with some very inspiring people there. But just the fact that I also have regular human beings when the camera is off, and I'm sitting there wondering if this is all worth it. I have a wonderful wife, wonderful in-laws, wonderful, brother and sister-in-laws, and wonderful family members, and individuals in my life who, from ministry to media, who have made a major impact in my life. It's hard out here. We could talk about, you know, our history and all this other stuff, and oh, yeah, I remember when that person was this, and I remember when that person was that, and I don't know why they even got there, how'd they get that, how they get this. Well, that's whatever. There's something to being somebody that has that support and has that word of encouragement, that somebody who has your back. That's a huge blessing. And so, to any of you, all of you who are watching this and who didn't mind spending 10 plus minutes with a talking head and someone in the background as you're cooking and cleaning. For those of you who stayed this long, bless you, thank you. I want to say this, that is as hard as it can be, remember to start with you. The fact that you're doing what you're doing, the fact that you're doing that YouTube video, the fact that you're learning that craft, the fact that you're trying to improve, the fact that you have some kind of dream, the fact that you have some kind of goal, keep going. Don't stop. Keep going. Keep going. Let me say it again. Keep going. I say this because you know what? Not only am I trying to keep going, you all, and trying different things and learning something new, especially as I do this YouTube thing, I'm also in that same boat, having to ask the question, is this still something that I want to keep doing? Is this something that I still want to do? Even when life, when people, when systems, when things try to move the goalpost. It takes faith, it takes some support from other people. It takes you looking at the situation saying, I don't care how hard this gets, I'm going to keep going. Somebody has to see you move forward. There's somebody that you're going to inspire and you're going to encourage just by you staying the course. And that's my talk. Listen, what do you think? If you're right now kind of on the verge of giving up, let's talk about it. Maybe I could share some word of encouragement to you. And maybe there's somebody who looks at your comments under the comments and can also pour into you as well. Because to be honest, I'm telling you to stay the course, but maybe you're tired. That's another video by itself, and I totally understand that. I could totally understand that. Totally can relate to that. But let's talk about it. Are you staying the course? And what is it right now that you're staying the course on? What's going on? How are you holding up? And what's keeping you going? What's motivating? What's inspiring you? Leave your comments. And again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to share the video out because maybe someone else needs to be told to stay the course and to keep going forward. You all take care and have a good one. We'll talk later here. And I appreciate you being here with me on my journey as we try to do this vlog thing. Catch you later.